Well, hello, and a very hot welcome back to another week on the plot. Oh, it's been scorching for, I guess, about a week, and we've had a couple of heat waves before that. It's a bit of a struggle, I have to admit. Cheryl and I have basically stayed indoors over this weekend, which is incredibly rare for us, but sometimes you just have to let the weather take its natural run. And if you can stay out of the most extreme parts of it, then that makes perfect sense. So yeah, it's hot, and I've probably laboured the point that we've had a considerable dry spell now, going back to the winter. Fortunately, on this plot, we have a water trough that's fed by both a natural spring and the mains, so we don't run out of water here. So that's a blessing. But it's a lot of work watering all these crops. Of course, some things enjoy this hot weather. The squashes, my pumpkins are turning orange already. I think that's significantly early. Perhaps they are under stress and they know that they need to produce the seeds quickly. I don't know, but I just watered them now and they're orange. And yeah, some things are struggling. The flowers are dying on the plot because the small pots they're in just don't hold enough moisture. But anyway, we'll have a look around at what's good and what's bad. But you will be aware over the last few weeks that this house move has got on my nerves. And I won't labour the point because I probably already have again. But I have an announcement to make about that. I will say, the most frustrating thing about the house move, other than the fact that we've never done it before, Cheryl and I, we've been in married quarters for the vast majority of our married life. And the military, as with all things, run things so much more efficiently than civilian life. So it's so much easier. I don't know why the civilians don't go and look at the military and say, right, let's do it that way. It's always been a query to me, a mystery. Everybody knows, they go, oh, this needs to run like a military operation. So why don't we do it I don't know. But it's that reliance on other people to do their job. I have struggled with that my whole life, even in the army. I've always wanted, I'm the sort of person who says, right, that's what we need to do. These are the problems. How do we solve them to get to where we want to be? Whereas all my life I've come across people, oh, we'd like to do that, but look at these problems. Let's not bother. I can't be doing with that. So it's been frustrating, but I have an announcement, and if you hang on long enough, and while you're here, why not subscribe and give me a thumbs up? That was crass, wasn't it? I'll let you know what's happened, and it is significant. Right, so the plot, let's have a look round. The dahlias in this raised bed are loving this hot weather. I think this raised bed holds its moisture, so they've got the perfect conditions. So yeah, they're loving it. The dahlias in the pots are struggling, but as long as they survive, then maybe next summer won't be quite so harsh and I'll get them in the ground somewhere. The courgettes are definitely loving this hot weather. Again, because I keep them watered in these raised beds, this yellow variety Soleil is producing fantastic crops. So yeah, the courgettes like it. I don't think the leeks are enjoying it, but again, every Sunday morning when I get up here early, I give them a good 3 or 4 full watering cans, and so far so good, but I don't think they're enjoying it. The tomatoes, Crimson Plum, are definitely loving the weather, and I'm just starting to get some colour. And I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Dave, who left a comment on my last video when I mentioned about cutting off the lower leaves. It's not really a comment, it was more an essay. It was absolutely fascinating, and I'll put the name of his YouTube channel on the screen now. Absolutely fascinating answer, and got me really thinking. Worth going back to my last video and reading his comment. So thanks, Dave, I appreciate it. And I'm going to leave these tomato plants as they are, although I have taken my eye off the side shooting ball, so I need to do that today. But yeah, the tomatoes are loving this hot weather. You won't be surprised to hear me say the squash are loving it. This is a bed of you cheeky buggers. Actually, I think it's you cheeky curry. And there's a couple of fruit there that I'm going to guess they're almost full size. They've just got to turn red. But yeah, again, I keep these watered every weekend and possibly once midweek, using these bottles, which are one of the best ideas I've ever nicked off anybody. And it's a fantastic system, and they're loving it. Also, these blackberries, this arch is, you know, just beautiful and so easy to pick the blackberries. Yeah, it works an absolute treat. Although, of course, next year's canes, oh, that's the kettle. Next year's canes make it look a little unsightly, but I can live with that, because come the autumn, all the canes that have fruited will come off, and the new ones will be tied in. But yeah, these two arches are fantastic. You can see the zinnias in these pots are struggling. I haven't been up the plot for 2 or 3 days, so, and at the height of it, the temperatures are in the low to mid 30s, and so, you know, I let them down a bit. I watered them about 2 hours ago, and they are starting to recover, but I think some of them just went a bit too far. That's the trouble with pots, you've got to be attentive. Anyway, talking of pots, let's go and have a look at something else. An update on my neighbour's quest to grow squashes. He was up this week and went to the huge effort of digging in buckets. Yeah, I guess he's drilled holes in the bottoms of them, I don't know. And he's put some new squash plants in. Now my pumpkins are going orange. My mum always taught me, if you haven't got anything nice to say, Martin, don't say anything at all. So I think I'll leave it there, Mum. It's only 6:45 in the morning, and it's baking. Now if I can shut up for 1 minute, you'll hear that these runner bean plants are humming with bees. And of course, not only do they look fantastic, of course when they first came to the UK they were grown as an ornamental plant. It took decades before anybody thought to eat the beans. And they are stunningly beautiful. They're loving the heat. My perennial kale is hanging on. I assumed it would get riddled by the cabbage white, which are everywhere at this time of year. But it doesn't seem to be. Whether they don't like it or they just haven't found it, I don't know. But I water it once or twice a week and it's hanging on. Now, I've never grown borlotti beans or butter beans before. And I got the butter beans from Danny at the Grow Up channel. So thank you for that, Danny, and they're doing very well. They've really sort of kicked in now with this heat. They are growing prolifically now, and they're not as fast as the runner beans, but there are flowers on some of them. I can't tell you whether that's a borlotti or a butter. You think after 9 years of doing this I'd be much better at it, but there you go. So the beans are enjoying it. Yeah, so I've kept you in suspenders long enough. So what is this announcement? And of course I don't mean to be self-indulgent. You know, this is a YouTube channel. You've got your own lives to lead. But back in January of 2024, I sort of said on my channel that my family and I, my wife and I, were hoping to move to a new property, which we've never done before. You know, spending most of my married life in army married quarters, and have a little bit of land where we can grow our own food. So replicate this, but on our own privately owned land. And here we are in July the following year, so 18 months later, and we still haven't managed it. And it's been quite a journey. Everybody said to me, oh, this is the most stressful thing you'll ever do. And I thought, well, how stressful can it be? Well, let me tell you. The worst experience of my life, by far. You know, if you take out, you know, when my father died and things like that, but just in normal life, by far the worst experience of my life. Anyway, we're a step closer. And of course, you know, my eldest son spoke to me on the phone yesterday and said, Dad, you've been getting more and more pessimistic. And he's right. You know, I'm a pessimist by nature. So I'll stop rambling. What I will say though is that our sold sign went up in our front garden on the 2nd of December. And here we are in July and we still haven't moved. However, we have now exchanged contracts. Charlotte and Carl decided, quite rightly, to get a solicitor from the same company or firm that we did, based locally, thinking logically that would help the process, that our two solicitors could talk, liaise and make the whole process smoother. What we didn't know and couldn't know was that their solicitor was professionally negligent. And about 3 weeks ago they'd had enough. We'd all had enough. So they arranged a meeting with a member of the board of the solicitor's firm, and they went along to the meeting. It went reasonably well, and the upshot of it was that their solicitor has been fired for professional negligence. She has a number of complaints outstanding against her. Not surprisingly, we are not the only people highly dissatisfied with her service. And she has been the problem all along. It's nothing but roadblocks, problems, no solutions. Anyway, the chap they spoke to, he said, we've given you a new solicitor and he's an unblocker. And so it has proved to be. And this chap has taken the bull by the horns and all the other cliches I can't think of. And we exchanged contracts this week. Now, the story is not complete. We still have some work to do to get into the property we're buying, or Charlotte and Carl are buying, but we're confident, and that should be done by, I'm going to say, mid-August. And, you know, I won't give you any more detail than that because you're not interested and you don't need it. So I hope that, you know, helps. We're chuffed to bits. I mean, we are taking a bit of a risk. We haven't quite completed or exchanged on the other property, so, you know, there are risks for Cheryl and I, but we've accepted those risks, and it's all now moving at a fairly decent pace. So this will mean the end of this channel in about 3 weeks' time. Now that's going to shake YouTube to its foundations. However, it's not the end of my YouTube story. We will be starting up a new channel. I think my daughter will primarily run it. I'll tell you the details of that nearer the time. But And I'll probably repeat this later, but I'd like to thank each and every one of you for your support. It's never really grown. I mean, I've never reached 1,000 subscribers, but that's probably my own fault with being so highly opinionated during COVID. I had a few people give me give me their opinions, but anyway, I don't regret any of it. I am what I am. Oh, there's a song there. So I'm rambling. Sorry. That's the big news. The big news is good news, and it looks like our ambition is going to happen, and I could not be more pleased. Cheryl, I mean, it's only 7 o'clock, so she's not up yet, but Cheryl has some boxes made up at home. We filled 11 boxes yesterday afternoon, and she'll do another 3 or 4 today. We've got 3 weeks till we move. We move out, but it's all systems go. So I know a number of you will be pleased for me because I've had some lovely supportive comments through the months, and I'm very pleased to be able to give you that news. Because things were going badly on the moving front, I paused bringing stuff up, because a lot of the stuff that's in our back garden and the firewood and all that, I've got a firewood store at home. All these things that we want at the new property, you can't ask a removals firm to move your firewood. So all these sort of things I'm bringing to the allotment, holding at the allotment with a view to, when we've moved, taking it to the new property. Which is why, really, I've kept the allotment until February of next year, so I can move everything I want here to the new place in slow time. This is my Aero hot bin. It is, without doubt, the best money I have ever spent on any gardening product ever. Fantastic bit of kit. When we get to the new place and we start up the new channel, I will do a review of this bit of kit. I've done it before, but I'm so impressed with it. It does exactly what the promotional blurb says, but it's a bit of a big beast. And I want it, when we move, our back garden's very small where we are now, so it was at the bottom of the garden, but that was only a 30-second walk. The new place, if it put it at the bottom of the garden, it's a much longer walk. So this needs to be somewhere near the house, without being an eyesore. So it's now come up. I've moved it up today. I'm going to stick it down here at the back with all this firewood that's waiting. But an Aero hot bin, wonderful bit of kit, turns your kitchen scraps and waste and any garden waste into usable, friable compost within a month or 2. But it's blimmin' heavy. Because the hot bin's been out of use for a few months, I haven't been using it in the back garden, so I could empty it and bring all the stuff up here. All our garden waste, which goes in this little container outside our back door, I bring this up periodically and empty it into the compost heaps on the allotment. And today, the first sunflowers I took home for my darling wife were rejected. I knew she didn't like sunflowers, so it's not a surprise, but yeah, they went in the compost and got sent back up here. That'll teach me to take my wife home flowers, won't it? So hopefully the stepovers will find a new home in Herefordshire. But I recently took off the old canes and put on these much longer canes because they were outgrowing the original ones. It's remarkable the speed at which these things are growing. And here we are. Last week I said it won't be long before I can tie these new ones in, and already that's ready to be tied in. So I'm thrilled with that. 4 brand new stepovers to put down the central pathway of the new allotment. And here you can see the pumpkins. They're a perfect size, I think. They're not too big. You don't want pumpkins too big for domestic Halloween use. But they're colouring up already, which is why my neighbour's wasting his time. But yeah, they're coming on a real treat. And another one there. That one is still green, but it's a good size. It won't be long before that follows suit. And the plants are finally trailing out across the plastic as I intended them to do, with more pumpkins forming. I think the fig is enjoying this hot weather as well. It did drop quite a few, but some of them have hung on and they couldn't look healthier. Let's hope that's not the kiss of death. There must be aphids on this sunflower, because I've never noticed as many ladybirds on a plant as I have on this. Well, that's a couple of spring onions on order from Cheryl for potato salad, a bit of broccoli and Romanesco for dinner tonight, and that is my first picking of beetroot. Good size, and they're going through the juicer over the next couple of mornings. Lots more beetroot to go. Well, it's not even midday, but it's getting quite hot now. It's going to be over 30 degrees today, so that'll do me. Everything's watered that needs to be. Cheryl doesn't want too much picked at the moment because we've now got to start emptying the freezer in the house. But it's a strange situation because, you know, in a month we could be in our new property, and this allotment, or these 2.5 allotments, will be my past, not my future. So I've sort of made a mental switch that I love this allotment. It's been so good for me over the last 9 years. It's fed us, it's given me a passion and a hobby that I love, but nothing lasts forever, does it? So I'm not sure whether I'll be posting next weekend. I will certainly post one more time and give you the name of the new channel we'll be starting up, and that is quite exciting because it's just an acre of grass at the moment, and we're going to turn it into this. So that's going to be a lot of hard work. The other significant thing is that for Cheryl and I, we retire. I will do a little bit more work, and I'll tell you more about that later, but it'll be 1 day a week. Cheryl retires. She's already handed in her notice at work. She's thrilled about that. And I will stop the vast majority of my work. I won't ease up, obviously, but yeah, it's really significant. So I will at least post one more time, probably two. I'm not quite sure how well we'll cope with the tomatoes, because the tomatoes will start cropping in about another week or two, and that's the period where we're moving. So we may lose the crop, I'm not sure. You know, these things will happen. So thank you for joining me today. Thanks for being with me for the journey. I've appreciated every single one of you, all of you that leave comments. I've loved it all, and I'm very excited about the future. So at the next opportunity I will come and post another video up here, and like I say, I'll give you all the news about the new channel as and when we're sure what we're doing. Thanks for joining me. I hope your plots are going well. Until I see you again, look after yourselves, take care, bye for now.